Hey everyone, welcome back. And today I want to talk about how I do big art on a small budget. Now, when I first moved into this house, I learned something, and that is tall ceilings comes with lots of wall space, and that lots of wall space, you need big art to fill it. It's silly to have a huge amount of wall space and just a tiny little picture frame or a few picture frames on the wall. It just looks strange, it looks bad, it looks weird. If you're gonna have large wall space and you're gonna put art on it, the art needs to be big. And the truth is, after looking into it, big art is just really expensive. So I searched and searched and came up with a few solutions on how to do big art on a small budget. And right now we're in our living room and you're staring at one of my solutions, and I get so many compliments on this in my home that I want to share it with you guys, and I also wanted to share how I did it. So if you're interested in how I created this, please stick around to the end of the video and I will show you a tutorial. So let me go ahead and zoom in, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. So zooming in a little closer, can you tell what it is? What it is cupcake liners, believe it or not. So that's what I used to create this look, and I think it's very Anthropologie-esque if you'd ask me. And some people get the fact that it's cupcake liners. A lot of people ask me if it's seashells. So overall, that's what it is. And a point that I want to make with this is if your space is wider, then you want to get a wide piece of art. But if you have a really tall space, then you want to get a tall piece of art. So this space is wider than it is tall, therefore it looks better having a wider piece of art. Now, above our TV, we don't have anything yet. And I don't know if I want to put something there or not yet, but what I do know is above our TV is more vertical. Actually, let me show you. So this is the space above our TV, but as you can see, this is definitely taller than it is wide. So if I get something here, it needs to be taller so it fits that space better. Also, you can see over here, I have some empty space. Now, the thing that I really believe as well is you do not have to fill every space in your home with a piece of art or with something. It's okay if you leave some walls blank. So I'm definitely know for sure that I'm gonna be leaving this area blank no matter what I do. In this area, I might put something, I may not, but you can see it definitely is a very large piece of wall, so I might end up doing something there. But don't feel obligated to ever fill every inch of your wall space with art. Sometimes the architectural detail of your home is all you need. Okay, so this is my next example on how to do big art on a small budget, and that's basically doing a collage or collections of picture frames. When you put them all together like this, it creates big art, and instead of spending $500 on a big piece of art, you can do that for a lot less by doing something like this. So again, you can see that the space is more horizontal, so is my wall art right here, which I like to call this honestly our wedding wall, because these are our wedding pictures. But it fits the space because I did it in a rectangle, and the whole space itself is a rectangle. And right here, this is our buffet kind of thing, and I like to decorate this with the season, so I'm in the middle of decorating this right now. And if you have any ideas on what I can do here for summer, please let me know in the comments. But let me zoom in, and I want to also give you a few pointers when creating a picture wall or collage or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now that we're zoomed in, my fingers are blurry. Sorry, I don't know how to get them not blurry. But the most important thing here, besides the overall shape of your collage, and that's with whatever you pick, whether it's a square or it's more vertical, or like mine's more horizontal, is the spacing between each photo. Now, a tip is make sure that all the spacing is as even as you can get it between every photo. But as you can see here, the spacing isn't completely even because I do have different size frames. However, if you do look at like the spacing between these two frames and these two and these over here, they're all very similar. And when you see this and this spacing right here, Well, this is obviously very wide compared to the spacings over here and over here. However, these two are about the same size and therefore their spacing is the same between the photos. So there's still some consistency there with the spacing. And if you do have different size photos like mine, you will have to kind of finagle it. But as you can see, the edging is about the same on both the top and the bottom, which is helpful. And the spacing, like where the G is the same as well as on the sides. So try to keep your spacing as consistent and even as possible, and that really helps the overall look and it makes the impact much greater. It's tiny things like this that people don't necessarily notice, but they do notice. So I think it's what makes the difference between a good photo wall and a not so good photo wall. Also, this G I got at Michael's. It's their letter G. And I just spray painted. So it looks like kind of like the Anthropologie metal letters, but it's not. So there's another tip for you. And the G, of course, is our last name. I do have one more photo wall that I want to show you guys, and we're staring at it. This one's in our living room, and this one I had a little bit more fun with. Although I do want to tell you some kind of do's and don'ts I learned along the way when I did this. So let me go ahead and zoom in. Oh wait, again, the wall itself is a little bit more horizontal, and so is the shape of this collage. Although it's more eclectic, it still is longer than it is taller, if that makes sense. You know, it's longer going this way than versus this way, so it fits the wall space. Now zooming in a little bit, as you can see, I try to keep the spacing again as consistent as possible. This one's smaller, so that's hard, but the spacing is even all the way around. But the thing that I learned about doing photo collages is you need to have either all black and white pictures or all colored pictures. So as you can see in my, when I showed you my wedding wall, they were all colored pictures, but these ones aren't. I have some black and white ones right here and 2 black and white ones up there. And I learned that's kind of a no-no. So this is a good example of what not to do. Now the reason I haven't changed it is because the frames are black and white as well. So because the frames are black and white and the collage itself is more eclectic, I went ahead and I kept my black and white photos in there. So I think it kind of works, but in general, that's the rule. So I just decided that I would share because I learned that after the fact. The things that you're going to need for this tutorial are Scotch tape, and the only other thing you're going to need for this tutorial are cupcake liners. I like to get 3 different sizes, and that you could get any color that you like. I prefer white because it goes with my decor better, and I just got all these at Michael's. So I'm sure you can get yours at Michael's or wherever you know that sells cupcake liners. So what I did is I took the Scotch tape, and I just went ahead and I kind of folded it like this to create a loop so that you have a loop so it's sticky all the way around. You could probably use double-sided tape as well. And then I just stuck it on the back of the cupcake liner. And believe it or not, that was enough to stick all of them and to keep them stuck for over a year now. In my case, I used a really tall ladder, and I took all my cupcake liners and my tape up there along with a picture of my inspiration photo, and I stared at that the whole time I was putting these guys up, so I knew to stick to the overall shape. I just had to stare at it in order to achieve that. So let me bring you over to the wall now and show you how I stuck these. So next, once I had my tape on the back of it, I just stuck it to the wall where I wanted. And I rubbed it like that to make sure it stuck well, and then it just stays. And then I just kept on going. Now what I also like to do is take the smaller one and put it into like one of the larger ones, kind of like that, to just create more depth and definition. So I put those in some of the larger ones, like that. And as you can see, this is a tiny, tiny one, so I'm gonna stick that in this one. So some of them might have the smaller one, some of them might have a larger one. On some of them, you could even just leave blank. You don't have to have anything in them. So I just eyeballed it and kept on sticking, and this is how you do it. And the nice part about this, if you don't like where you placed one, well, it can easily come off, and you can stick it somewhere else. With my Scotch tape, it didn't leave anything on the walls, so I didn't have to worry about that. I don't know, with your paint, you might have to. And our paint's flat, so I think if it didn't ruin our paint, it probably won't ruin a lot of other people's paint. If you're worried about it, I guess you could always just use painter's tape. It's really simple, and it's probably the cheapest big art out there. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.